everybody. I'm here with Chris Melendez. So I have a couple questions that I had prepared for Chris. These are things that I personally want to know. And no one else gives a fuck. I guess for my first question, when did you first realize that you had the gift of screaming legibly?
Gift. It wasn't really a gift, so to speak. It was me figuring out that I sucked at guitar. That was my original instrument of choice.
Good choice.
Yeah, not for me.
Sorry.
I didn't have the desire and the determination and
the passion.
Yeah, the passion to actually follow it enough. Yeah, but I still didn't want to not do anything. Honestly, there was a part of a female component to it where guys in bands. And I was still am very quiet as a person.
People watching this, if you see this guy perform on stage, you would never guess that he was a quiet person.
Always been a quiet guy. That was a way to break out of the shell, so to speak.
I'd say that's a good way to go. You know, forcing yourself to, be out there and just get used to it, you know?
Oh yeah,
For sure.
And that's like putting yourself right in the front. Believe me, I had a lot of thoughts like, what the fuck are you doing? I say it wasn't a gift because when I first started, it was garbage. My first group was called Elements of the End.
Ooh.
A common theme throughout all my music writing has always been about the end of stuff, the death of stuff, dying, murder, stuff like that. You know, the usual.
The usual.
Yeah. It kind of sounded like a grandmother in a blender.
Oh, some people are into that.
Yeah, it's kind of hot.
Delicious.
It is hot, but it doesn't sound. It's not translatable into music so much. Yeah, if you're at home alone, with some lotion.
In a blender.
Yeah, exactly. A blender and
someone's
and a grandma.
grandma.
Yeah, someone's. It doesn't need to be yours. It doesn't need to be yours.
Rent a grandma.
Yeah, rent a grandma.
Return her,
Rent a mama.
I'm your blender mama. Ooh.
It sounded terrible at first. I kept working at it, and sometimes, I knew I was doing it wrong because I had no training. I sounded exactly like Tone Loc.
No shit.
Like Funky Cold Medina.
Funky Cold Medina.
That was for a few years, actually, and even into the creation of God Bless America, which I started with Catherine's own brother, Marcus Dobbs.
Marcus.
His name is just Mark, but call him Marcus.
We like Marcus.
Yeah, we like nicknames, like Catherine.
Shakat. I don't know where that came from.
It comes from up above.
Or down below. Yeah, exactly.
I saw that wasn't a long-term sustainable kind of thing.
Yeah.
Because I was damaging my vocal cords every single time I did it. I had to figure out a way to keep doing it because I learned to love doing it, and I learned to need to do it because it fills a very, very big hole. Everyone has that void.
It's almost like a release and a filler.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like
the world pushing up against you, and that's my way of pushing back.
If I go 1 week without, practicing with you guys, I feel it,
But yeah, I kept working on it. I actually started emulating Shagrath, the vocalist for Dimmu Borgir.
Nice.
I just figured it out by emulation and created my own noise, which is now sustainable.
And you absolutely created a very unique, original tone to your voice.
Downward, ever so sweetly downward.
Could you touch upon any other major musical, artistic influences?
In order to do that, I'd actually have to talk about even before I started singing. The first one that got me, believe it or not, was the band Orgy.
Mark challenged me. One of the first drum parts he wanted me to learn was that.
But yeah, that was actually when I was in 8th grade before I heard anything other than rap.
No shit.
Rap and country music, classical music. In my area where I grew up, metal wasn't a big thing. No, it wasn't represented.
Oh yeah.
So it started at Orgy, and then it kind of just went to Korn. From there, it kind of delved
downward, ever so sweetly downward.
Towards bands like Cannibal Corpse and Behemoth.
It's a whole different level, whole different tier.
I fell in love with the dark, the heavy, and the brutality. That was what was actually singing to my soul. I always felt that dark pull.
It's that magnetism.
It's where I'm supposed to be. Awesome.
Sorry.
Keep that in. Keep it in.
Bubbles.
I'm trying to think of anything else I could add to my inspirations.
Any Nine Inch Nails?
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah. One of my earliest memories with you and Mark, with Teeth album. That was the summer of 2005 or something like that. I fell in love with it. I know that's not early Nine Inch Nails, but it eventually
But I just
led to listening
that shit
to that
earlier this week. So
there you go.
Yeah, it's one of those things like in certain metal sub-communities that anything that isn't of the caliber of Cannibal Corpse is bullshit.
It's shit.
Yeah, it's bullshit. And for the most part, that's right. That's not to say that I'm implying that Nine Inch Nails is bullshit.
Oh, hell, thank you for clarifying that.
No. Now, here's the thing. I stood behind Trent up to a very, very specific point. His latest couple albums, I was trying to hide the fact that I was listening to them to strangers.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, people that... I was outside in my car driving, and I had no one would hear me listening to that. Like, no. I think a lot of that, it's always been an attraction to the dark. It's not just metal that holds a monopoly over dark sound.
There can be haunting songs in all different genres.
Where it's just singing. And like classical music, I fucking love classical music. Moonlight Sonata, if I had to, like, nail down your favorite song, that will always be my answer.
Very cool.
And it might be surprising because it's not a metal song. Yeah. But really, what is classical? But metal music before there was distortion.
That really clicked with me as I was joining TBD and stuff like that. Trying to get more into metal, drawing that connection, like it made me respect it.
Your natural inclination was not entirely towards metal. Yeah. But
things change.
Yeah, things do change.
For the better. Manstration.
Of the iceberg. Yeah, manstration.
Thanks for the memories.
Try.
I feel it.
I try.
Thank you. Which song is your favorite that you've written, at least lyrically? Lyrically, your favorite.
Favorite song is The Great Dying.
Excellent.
Yeah. That song I actually wrote after watching the entire Cosmos series. If you haven't watched that...
Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Oh my god.
Science.
That guy, I swear, I don't have really like any kind of role models or anything like that, idols, so to speak, outside of that guy. Like, he is like kind of one of those, oh my god, it's Neil deGrasse Tyson. Like, cause
the way he explains things.
He's how everyone should be. Thinking of yourself within the realm of you're part of something huge, but you yourself, you're not the most important thing that is there.
More people should have that train of thought. I don't mean to think that we're right about everything, blah blah blah. Nothing like that.
Well,
but
ego.
Once you minimalize yourself, like I've had this discussion with you before, how it makes me feel better. It brings me comfort knowing that I'm not the most important thing in the universe.
You can actually get lost in the noise of it. Fuck your ego.
Making the vlog. I hate saying vlog.
Yeah,
I fucking hate that word.
So douchey. It's vlog. You doing this is fucking awesome. Do more of it.
It's for us too,
yeah. And it's one of those things. Start, recording shit, and might sound like Blender Grandma.
So, we touched upon, I keep on saying touched upon, like I'm
we
fucking
touch
priest.
Upon a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of little things.
A lot of little kids.
I didn't say kids,
what?
Catherine.
So we kind of talked about, your favorite song lyrically.
Mm-hmm.
What are your favorite songs to perform live?
Number one right now is Vlad.
Me too.
I shouldn't be saying this, but that motherfucker has very little vocals.
Yeah.
And I'm sure no one's noticed, but they will now. Once I actually just sit down and stop being a fucking lazy ass.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens a lot to me, though. A lot.
Except
Once I actually do, that shit's going to be amazing. And like right now, it feels amazing, even though, you know, what I'm doing is just lying in front of everyone. That's one of the best things about being a vocalist. Well, a distorted vocalist, you can just shout out whatever the fuck, and people are like, that sounds amazing.
I couldn't fake play the drums.
You could try it.
I might have to next time.
But I think we'll notice.
No.
Yeah.
I'm going to be that good at faking it.
But I hear nothing. I feel nothing.
That's what she said.
No, she didn't. Maybe not. No, I don't know about. Yeah.
So
Vlad is so fun to play. It's because like right now it's raw feeling.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm not doing a whole lot of actual words, but I know the feeling of that song. Maybe a little bit fucked up in the head. But who isn't? Who among us hasn't wanted to, you know, put 40,000 or so men on spikes?
I could think of a couple instances last week that made me want to do that.
Not 40,000?
Not 40,000, but
well,
I'm still young.
Yeah, exactly.
You know
exactly.
What I'm
You're not Vlad Tepes.
I don't know how old he was when, you know, he was doing all these things.
I don't know that either. I was watching a documentary on that when you guys wrote that song. I started hearing that song while I'm watching it.
That's cool. It's stuff like that you can't plan.
Exactly. That is how I've written most of what I write. All of a sudden, there it is. I'm not even thinking about writing, and then I'll write it, you know, in 2 days. I wait for those springs of inspiration. Actual songs where I've actually finished them.
Oh, yeah,
and there are actual words. Is the song Pray For Me into the song Zealot, which we've just made like a staple. There's no break in between. They are kind of one now.
Oh,
I know, that's two. Pray For Me. It's essentially about a satanically inspired serial killer who starts to doubt the power of Satan because he feels that he's more evil. Yeah, it's a little jump. And Zealot is one of those raw, savage. It's almost like a love song for murder.
It's non-stop.
Yeah, the feeling of just unrefined aggression. And yeah.
Now I want to play.
Yeah.
Friday.
We are mobless.
Yeah.
I'm up. I know you're watching. See you by the dumpster, bud. Those are my favorite ones to actually play live.
Well, first off, this was an awesome chat. This was a lot of fun, and that makes me feel good. My last question for you is: do you have any creative advice, or just advice in general for, you know, younger people? Like,
kill yourself.
Oh shit!
Find a new profession. It's awful. You won't succeed. Don't quit your day job. You're a piece of shit. You don't matter. No.
I love you though.
Going back to Blender Grandma. If you really want to do it, stick with it. Practice. Actually, if you can, take lessons, because you don't want to fuck up your voice. It's really easy to do. If you're into metal, you're already some, you know, little punk ass kid. You're probably not listening to me. I said kill yourself. For you YouTubers and you Facebookers who are slightly sensitive. Yeah, no, that's a thing. Everyone is sensitive. I'm sorry. Kill yourself.
And that's a wrap. Yes!